But let's move over to another matchup that I think is going to be absolutely fascinating. The Eagles' offensive line against the defensive front of the Chicago Bears. This Eagles' offensive line continuing to struggle week after week after week. And as we know, when Lane Johnson is not out there, things are an absolute mess for this offensive line. And we're continuing to see that. Second-year center Cam Jurgens is actually ranked as one of the bottom 5 centers in the league after an incredibly dominant year last year. Yes, he's been going through a bunch of injuries this year. It's obviously affecting him, but he's still out there. He wants to be a warrior. Be that as it may, right guard Tyler Steen has been struggling for week after week in various in-game situations. Lester, how do you see the Bears pass rush, the defensive front in general, really stacking up against this very inconsistent Eagles offensive line that's always been known to be dominant?
Montez Sweat has really heated up. He was kind of had a slow start to the early season, but then he had like a stretch where he had like a sack in 4 straight games. He had 2 sacks against the Steelers. Should have had a third, but he let Mason Rudolph slip away. Austin Booker, who the Bears just got back from injury reserve, he is a really young player. He came out of college as a redshirt sophomore, so he came in the league really young. He's now in year 2. Worked on getting himself better. He was injured a lot early on in the season. He's kind of giving the Bears a little bit off the edge. I talk about injuries. I mean, the Bears are missing guys there too. They're missing their other starting defensive end, Deo Odengbo. So it's been Booker and Sweat. But you look inside, Grady Jarrett, who the Bears signed as a free agent coming out of the Falcons, pretty non-existent early on. But these last few games, he's kind of making a presence. I'm not sure if he was kind of recovering. There was a slight period there we had an injury. So maybe he just was kind of working through something in camp. It flared up. It got worse. But he missed like 2 or 3 games in the middle of the season there. But these last few games, his presence is showing up. He's penetrating. He's getting his hands up. He's knocking balls down. He's getting at the quarterback. I don't think he has any sacks, but he's getting pressures. He's getting hits. He's getting hurries.
Yep.
And then, of course, I talked about Andrew Billings. He's just a gigantic dude. And the Bears have been kind of letting him kind of play more of a run stuffer. But he's pretty good at pushing the pocket. I mean, I know coming out of college, he was like one of the strongest dudes at the time. I know in high school he has set a whole bunch of Texas powerlifting records, and that's kind of been his forte in the NFL is just power. You can't move him, right? And then, so the Bears D line has a lot of money invested in there. They haven't really had a huge impact yet, but the last few weeks are starting to come on.
Yeah, and they could certainly have quite an impact against this Eagles offensive line.